Hi guys, it's Bobby. Welcome back to my channel for another video. I thought I'd come on camera just a little bit. This video is going to be a little bit different than something that I normally do because I really need to get my life under control. It feels a little chaotic lately. I'm not quite sure why, but I have just felt so unorganized, even with using my planner. So I figured maybe I'd sit down and like brain dump like my ideal day, like what my ideal schedule looks like to me, what I need it to look like, what my non-negotiables are, the things that must be done, for work, for home, for health, for me, for the pets, for the family, so on and so forth. So if that's something that you're interested in seeing, stick around. Okay, so you guys know that I'm in a Moterm personal wide Pebble Courts. So I just, like I said earlier, my life is just, I feel completely unorganized lately. So I want to sit down and like map out my ideal schedule, what my non-negotiables are. So this is the weekly insert that I'm using by Haru Plans. So I'm just going to get like a notes page out of the back of my book here. Just one notes page that I can use for like a brain dump, and we're gonna sit down and try to figure out like what my ideal day would look like, okay, from like start to finish. I get up at 5, but I don't really get out of bed until like 5:15. So because 5 o'clock comes early, you guys, comes way too soon. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move my book out of the way and get you guys moved in a little closer so we can get started. Okay? So, let's see. Okay, I hope this works out for you guys. Because I know it's a lot of white on white. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to start out with is kind of like a little brain dump. So, okay, so like my schedule is 5 a.m. I wake up. I know this is a bit like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, elementary, I don't know, simple, I don't know. But I want to just do, like, this morning, so, like, it's Tuesday morning after the holiday, after the Memorial Day. So, it's my first day back to work. And, like, I remember what I did this morning, so I'm just going to try to do that. So, 5:15 is coffee and feed pets. All right, so 5:30 my husband leaves for work, so I get him out the door, and then I'm gonna say 5:45 maybe. It's another cup of coffee and put dishes away. And this is also where I would take out any meat that I need to take out to thaw for dinner, for that night. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to say about 6:15. Okay, that's when I'm pretty much done with my second cup of coffee. The cats have had their treats. Oh, so cat treats. I know I'm writing all this stuff down. I probably don't need to, but it is what it is. Anyway, so let's see, what else? I have to be to work at 8, so I'm just going to skip a little bit. So 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. is work. All right? And then 1 p to 2 p is lunch. And then 2 p to 5 p is work. All right, so that way I don't, obviously that's a non-negotiable. So, okay, I want to walk every day on the walking pad. I want to make sure my house is in order, so like, I know y'all saw that mess behind me. So I want to make sure that mess is cleaned up every day. I want to make sure that, you know, I do like my self-care stuff, you know, like the washing of my face, brushing my teeth, brushing my hair. I got a new lip gloss over the weekend. Um, I think it, no, I got it yesterday. I got it yesterday. Yeah, I ran out to Walmart yesterday. My husband worked for a half a day yesterday, so I got out and I did the laundry and, you know, I ran a couple of errands while I was out. Anyway, I want to start putting on a little bit of makeup, even like a quick, like, 5-minute face routine. So, like, I don't, in the summertime especially, I don't like using liquid foundation. So I've been using this, the Maybelline Fit Me loose finishing powder. It's in 25 medium. So I just use that with like a kabuki brush, you know, that I got from e.l.f. So, I mean, both of those are at Walmart, you know, it's just the e.l.f. brand kabuki brush. But, so like I want to start doing like a 5-minute, like little face routine. So like my moisturizer, maybe a little bit of concealer to hide these bags underneath my eyes. Well, they're steamer trunks at this point. But, and like a little bit of like a nude eyeshadow, a little bit of mascara, blush, and the lip gloss that I bought. The lip gloss that I bought is this one here. It's from Wet n Wild. It is called Champagne Please. And I bought also this pale pink lip liner. Oh, so excuse me, nude pink lip liner from NYX. So I just, you know, line my lips obviously, and then just put the lip gloss on over top. I really like the way it looks. That's what I had on in the beginning of the video. So, but anyway, so I want to do like a 5-minute like face routine, and then, you know, I get ready for work. Now, essentially, theoretically, what I could do is when I log on to work at 8, I could just sit at my desk for like a couple minutes and, you know, put my face on. You know, I kind of don't want to do that, like only in extreme cases, you know, because I'm being paid to do a job, right? So, usually I have to take my kid to work. I'll be glad when he gets his license. But then I don't know if I want him using my car. Anyway, so, and then of course you guys know, like on Mondays, I have to take him to his appointment early in the morning. So I think, ew, that looks yucky. Oh, anyway, ADD. Sorry about that, you guys. Got sidetracked. All right, so like my non-negotiables. Sorry, something caught my eye. So non-negotiables are wash face, brush teeth, obviously, walk. Dinner is going to have to be a non-negotiable too, because if I have to thaw meat, I need to take it out. But I've got that pretty much down, you know, so I don't really think I need to write that down. Let's just wash face, brush teeth, walk, shower, because if I'm walking, I'm definitely going to need a shower. I could probably shower on my lunch break, but I don't want to get in the habit of doing that because I do like to take that time to chill out, you know, especially on busy days. So I did get another audiobook, an audiobook. It's called The Trial of Lizzie Borden. I can't wait to listen to that. So let's see. All right, so I think I'm not going to think too much about it because then that defeats the purpose of a brain dump. Sorry, gotta get some of my coffee, you guys. So, all right, so 6:15, around 6:15, I can wash my face, brush teeth, and get dressed. All right, so let's just say that takes me 10 minutes. So that's like 6:25. Okay, so I'm going to say 6:30 because I don't like the whole 25-minute thing. So 6:30 is walk. I want to do 30 minutes a day on the walking pad. So walk. And then 7A, I'm done with that. So let's just say I'm going to like rest for 15 minutes, get some water in me. Like maybe like wipe down my face with like a cool washcloth, again. So, and then 7:15, I can do breakfast. All right, so there's that. Breakfast is usually the same thing for me every day. It is two egg and cheese wraps. I use like the whole wheat like tortillas, and I break a slice of cheese in half, put it down, and then there's like a scrambled egg on top, and then I just roll it up and eat it. Let's see. So it doesn't take long to cook, to make or to eat. So let's see. I can do. All right. So 7:30. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky, okay? Because if I have to take my kid to work, I try to take him to work before I go to work. So, he doesn't work that far from where we live, but with the traffic and 50 million stop signs through town, and then the red lights and everything else, it takes about 15 minutes to get him to work, okay? So, that means we typically leave out of here about 7:35, 7:40, so that way I can get there, drop him off, and get back, So, and I'm sorry, I misspoke. It doesn't take 15 minutes to get him there. It's 15 minutes round trip, okay? He works 2 miles from here. So, it's about 15 minutes round trip for me to get him there, get him dropped off, and for me to get home in time to log into work. So, I'm not late, okay? So, 7:30, I'm not going to put anything down from there, and then that's when we get into the 8 o'clock. So, it looks like I will be taking a shower on my lunch break, which is fine, I guess, because my shower is like 15 minutes, so I'll still have a good 45, to figure some shit out, listen to an audiobook. I could probably listen to the audiobook while I'm in the shower. So let's see. So I've got my, yep. Okay, shower. So lunch, shower. All right. So I'm just going to put, take kid to work. All right. And this actually works out even when, on Mondays when we have his appointment, because we can't get in until 8. So it's like a 45-minute trip, one way, 45-minute drive one way. So I can still walk. I can still be done. I mean, I probably won't eat breakfast right at 7:15. I mean, here lately, I haven't really been eating breakfast until about 9 anyway. So, and that's when I'm already at work. So, I don't know. We shall see. So, and then, so like 7:55, I can just do face, do my quick little face routine. But that still doesn't, let's see, where can I put like tidy up? So like the living room, like I want to tidy up. Like yesterday, my husband was complaining that it was cold. I was having some severe hot flashes yesterday. So he was covered up with a blanket. And of course, he doesn't fold up the blanket when he's finished with it. So he just threw it on the couch. I guess I could just put that in here, 6:15-ish. So tidy up. Because it doesn't take me that long to wash my face, brush my teeth, and get dressed. And then tidy up doesn't take long either. It's just a matter of like folding up a blanket, cleaning up a little bit of clutter. So I would say like maybe 5-10 minutes So to get that done. And then, so 7:55 face. Okay, so then I'm working until 1, and I have my lunch break. I take a shower. Pardon me. Lunch break is over. Okay, so at 5, I log off. Now, there's some exceptions to me logging off, so I don't want to be as strict with my evening routine, because there are times when I don't log off until after 6. It just depends on the size of the audits. If we're like running behind with anything and people need more time to get some of their stuff done. So I'm going to say 6 p.m. We're going to get into dinner or cook dinner. So that we'll eat dinner cook dinner. So we'll eat dinner at 6:30. Alright, and then should be done by 7, depending on what we have. So, 7 p, clean up, wash dishes. Let's see. Let's clean up, wash dishes. So clean up to me is like cleaning up my kitchen, wiping down my counters, wiping down my stove. And I'll do that again after I've washed the dishes. Just because that's my habit. So, like, cleaning up before I wash dishes is to, like, put all the dishes together to get ready to get washed, wipe down the stove and the counters if there's, like, any food that, boiled over or spilled over or whatever, and then I'll wash the dishes, and then I'll wipe down the counters and the stove again, just so, like, if any water splashes or like, I've missed something or something drips off a dish, you know what I mean? So and then I'll do that. So that'll take me about 15 minutes, roughly, depending on what we have for dinner. So, and then I'm going to say 7:30, just so I can give myself some time, because I'm not sure how long something's going to take. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want a buffer. If I can get it done before 7:30, I'll get it done before 7:30. But, I just want a little bit of buffer. So 7:30 would be, I want to wash my face again. And then put my PJs on. And then relax. Okay. So I think that's how it's looking right now. And this is just like a regular day where I don't have the appointment for my kid. Because if I did, then this is going to get pushed back. The 7:55 face, it's going to get pushed back. Everything's going to get pushed back. I won't get a shower at lunch because I won't have a lunch that day. So, the only thing that bothers me a lot is this end of the day routine, because, like, by the time we eat dinner, I'm done. I'm over it. I want to sit down with my phone and, like, watch TikTok for a minute, or I want to just sit down and put my feet in my husband's lap and just chit-chat with him. Like, I want to be done with the day. But when I do that, the dinner dishes don't get done. So when I wake up at 5 and I go out and make my coffee, bam, there's a sink full of dirty dishes staring me in the face. And I'm just like, ugh. And I don't want to start my day off like that, So I think that no matter what, this needs to be like a non-negotiable. So let me get like a highlighter really quick. Let's see. All right. So let's just go through and highlight like my non-negotiables. All right. So it's coffee and feed pets, obviously. Wash face, brush teeth, work is a non-negotiable. Clean up and wash dishes is a non-negotiable. So let me just do that. Because I don't want to start off my morning every morning with a boatload of stuff that needs to be done that was left over from the night before. So I just, you know, want to make sure that I get all that stuff done. And theoretically, it doesn't take very long at all. Like, honestly, when I do the dishes from the night before in the morning, I usually do it while I'm waiting for my Keurig to brew a cup of coffee. Okay? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm silly, but I like to race the Keurig. Oh, how many of these dishes can I get washed before the Keurig is done? I don't know. But that's just how my mind works. So, and as you guys know, Keurig doesn't take very long to brew a single cup of coffee. I think mine takes forever in a day, but that's just because I'm eagerly waiting for it first thing. Well, not just first thing in the morning, just at any time of the day. But, so, and when my husband and I cook together, a lot of times, like when he's like stirring the food or whatever, I'll clean up. I'll start washing the dishes. I'll get the counter cleaned up, so that's one less thing we got to worry about. So I guess it all depends on what we have. Like tonight we're going to have hot dogs and French fries for dinner. All right. Cause I just don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm tired of figuring out dinner. I can boil a hot dog in some water. We can put French fries in the Fry Daddy and we're done, and we got paper plates. So very few dishes, you know what I mean? So win-win all the way around. So, but now tomorrow we're going to have pork chops. So that means that we're going to have a pan for the pork chops. We're going to have a pot for a side. We're going to have forks, knives, still on paper plates, but forks and knives, that we don't need for tonight, because tonight's finger food, so, but anyway, but I can have my husband, well, it doesn't matter. Because even if I was going to say I could have my husband cook while I clean up, but the food, the dishes are going to be like after dinner. I can't wash the pan that he's cooking the pork chops in until he's done cooking the pork chops. So, but it could be worse. I could be cooking like Thanksgiving or Christmas. Anyway, so I think that no matter what happens, this needs to be a non-negotiable. Like, before I sit down to relax for the day, this stuff needs to be done. And it doesn't take long. I just need to just do it so that way I can have better mornings. The problem is we go to bed so early. We get up at 5, so we're in bed by like 8:30. So I would like to have a little bit more time, with my husband before we go to bed, but, he has off all weekend now, so we can just make up for it on the weekends, I guess. So, all right, I think this is it. I think I'm gonna run with this. I'm gonna get it I want to get it like typed up and kind of like I did with this, So you see, I've got my schedule here. Wait a second. Y'all, did I just do this shit for nothing? Wait a minute, let me take this out of here. Cause, alright, so 5 o'clock, wake up. Alright, I've got 5:20 here instead of 5:15. So my daily brew is to feed pets, put dishes away, thaw dinner, and make the bed. Well, I don't do that with that first cup of coffee. I do it with the second. Okay? So, and then I've got more coffee at 5:30. So 5:45. Then I've got 6 o'clock breakfast. No. 6:30 walk, which is what I have here. 7:15 a.m. routine. So that would be breakfast. 8 o'clock work, lunch, work. PM routine, which is cook dinner, dinner dishes, update planner, clean counters. Oh my God. Look at this. I'm just sitting around here making more work for myself. Okay. All right, so this needs to be updated, obviously, based on this. Because the times have shifted a little bit, but the premise is the same. So, all right, I'm going to get this I'm going to get this updated to match this. Okay. And I'll just take you along, you know, on when I actually follow the routine. That's the problem. That's the problem in a nutshell. It's just me following the routine. You know, because I get up in the mornings and I'm tired. You know, I haven't been sleeping very well at night. And I think that's taken its toll. Well, I know it's taken its toll. So, I don't know. I just need to just tell myself, look, quit your bitching and get up and do it. If you get up and do it, it'll be done, and you won't have to worry about it anymore. You know, so I think I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I'm gonna I don't know if I'm gonna update this today, but I will get it updated by tomorrow and reprinted. I got some skin. Ugh. Anyway, so I'm gonna just leave this right here, so to serve as a reminder. So yeah, I just gotta do it. Any tips, suggestions, ideas on how I can just get my ass in gear and get this done? You know, I just, and when I don't do it, like I know what I want to do, and I know what I need to do, and then I just sit around and like look at TV or whatever, and then I feel bad because I didn't do anything. But like when I'm on the walking pad, I can be looking at TV. So I can do two things at once there, and I don't know. I don't know why I don't do it. Maybe it's something I need to work with ChatGPT on. I'm not sure. Anyway, okay, all right. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I hope you guys had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and I will see you in the next video. So we'll do some planning, and we'll do some monthly planning and some weekly planning, and some financial planning, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. And until next time, bye.